grapes that are well suited to our climate. If you need me to move around or anything.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
We grow 3 red grapes, Chamberson, Norton, and Cabernet Franc, and then 2 white grapes, Vidal Blanc and Traminette. So, back here, we make the wine. We make all the wine right here on site. This is our tank room. Altogether, we've got 9,000 gallons of tank storage that we can make wine in. So the wine,
Yeah.
the wine stays in the tanks here for about 6 months. As soon as we harvest grapes, we have to press them and squeeze the juice out. As soon as we have juice, we have to ferment. So as soon as the grapes are harvested, we process the grapes, we squeeze the juice, we put it in the tank, and we start fermentation. Fermentation itself is about a 1 to 3 week process, depending which kind of wine it is, how we're making it. We add yeast to it, we add nutrients for the yeast, and fermentation starts. At the end of 1 to 3 weeks, fermentation is finished. All the alcohol that the wine needs is in there at that point. The rest of the 6 months is clarifying the wine, blending, stability, filtering, blending, everything that it needs to get it ready for the bottle. Right now, we're actually right at the end of that process. We bottle in about 10 days from now. If you had time and wanted to come out, you could get some really cool video of bottling on the 26th and 27th.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday and a Wednesday.
Yeah. So the package process will be also here, right?
Yes.
So this is the storage room for the wine.
Well,
Or-
so this is all the wine while it's in the tanks. We can come over here. This is storage once it's in the bottle, but this is only a very small amount. You can only make wine once a year. So for our more popular wines, like Joe's Cool Red, we sell somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 gallons worth of that a year, which is 30,000 to 40,000 bottles. I don't have room to store all that.
Yeah, probably.
So we have a warehouse in Cambridge where we bottle it all here, and then we take it over there, and then we have just enough here to keep us going for a month at a time, say. We bring it over here as we need it again. So
Yeah.
bottling is a really cool process. What we'll do, we don't have any bottling equipment of our own. We bring in what's called a mobile bottling line. It's a company that all they do is bottle wine. They have all the equipment on the back of a tractor trailer. They drive around from winery to winery, so they do it right here on site for us. But it's a state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line bottling line. It will rinse the bottle, fill it, put a cork or a screw cap on top. We've gone to all screw caps now, excuse me. Put a label on both sides, and it runs at 53 bottles a minute. So when they show up here, we'll have somewhere around 35,000 bottles that need to be worth of wine that need to be bottled, and they can do all that in 2 days. And then they're on to another winery the next. We've got 14 acres here altogether. This block here is 6 acres, and there's another block right on the other side of the woods over there that's another 8 acres. So it takes, we've got a vineyard manager and then 2 full-time and 1 part-time person just dedicated to the vineyard year-round to keep everything going here. Because it's a lot of manual labor. Almost everything we do in here is done by hand. Well, so this is how the season will go. They're dormant right now. The buds will open up and it'll start to grow in mid-April. By the end of May, the vines will have grown from here almost all the way down to the ground. They grow really quick for that month there. Then about the end of April, it will flower. There's actually little flowers on it. They're really tiny, they're hard to see. But each flower will open up, and where each flower is, a single grapeberry will be. So the flowers are in like a bunch, just like a grape bunch would be. So they'll flower about the end of May. Then the little grape berries will form. They'll keep getting bigger through June and July. But like these are red grapes right here. Through those times, those berries will still be green. They won't change color until they get to veraison, which is usually right around the 1st of August. And that's where the grape starts to mature. It will change color from green to red if it's a red grape. If it's a green grape, it just stays that color. But it will go from being basically just acid in there to creating flavors and sugars and all the good things in there that's going to make it a tasty grape. That's the maturing process, and from that point it's got about 6 weeks until it's actually ready to harvest.
So do the green grapes harvest faster than the red, or do the red?
Not always. Vidal is usually the last one we pick, and it's a white grape. But Traminette, which is a white grape, is our earliest. It just depends on the variety. Traminette is native to Germany, so it's used to colder weather. So with the warm weather we have here, it ripens really quickly. Warmer weather grapes would ripen a little slower. So it doesn't matter as much as color as where the grape comes from and how much heat it's used to and how much heat it needs to ripen. So, yeah. All the harvesting is done by hand. That'll start, usually the Traminette is ready the last week of August, first week of September, and we'll bring crews of migrant workers out here. There's a lot of workers that harvest watermelons. There's a lot of watermelons in this county. They'll harvest those, and then after watermelons are finished, they'll come over here and help us with the grape harvest. We like to have about 10 to 12 people out here at a time. With 10 to 12 people, we can harvest 8 to 10 tons a day. Altogether, we expect to harvest about 65 tons out of our vineyards here of grapes.
So your harvest season is around, I'll say about September, October, somewhere around that.
Yep.
And then bottling season is like right after that?
No, it takes 6 months to get the wine ready. So bottling season will be in March.
Oh, so now, okay.
Right now. We bottle in 10 days.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Kind of wine you serve here and the categories of them?
Yeah, so we've got about 18, 19, I lose count. They change depending on what we have at the time. About 18 or 19 different wines. We have most kinds of wines. We've got red wines, white, dry, red, rosé, sweet wines. We don't have a real dessert wine right now, but we do have one sweet, high alcohol wine, which some people consider dessert wine, some people just consider drinking wine.
Yeah.
Depending on what they like.
Yeah, and is there any seasonal wine that
We have, besides our 2 fruit wines, and they're somewhat seasonal, strawberry and watermelon. We also do a spiced apple wine that's really a fall wine. That's our big ones. We also do, and it kind of falls into the seasonal category, we do some wines on tap. We don't bottle them at all, we just put them in kegs. And so they change quite a bit. Like we have sangrias, blackberry wines, peach wines. Right now we have kind of an Arnold Palmer. We have a lemonade wine,
Yeah.
and then we added some iced tea to it, so it's a lemonade iced tea wine.
Oh, that's interesting.
We like to try different things. Most of our wines have a reason behind the name. Joe is my father. That's 2 sweet for you. We have a wide range. This is actually one of our sweeter ones, but it's what appeals to most people. Okay.
I mean, I like the sweetness of it because it's like me. I'm used to drinking Moscato, so it's not a very this is like I can drink this and be happy.
We have a Joe's Cool White also that's very similar to Moscato.
So which grape is this one?
This one is Congo.
So can I have your name and how did you start your own winemaking career?
Well, my name is Judy Crow, and I don't know that I would call this as my winemaking career. My career is farming sustainability and creating a diversification plan for our farm. 10 years ago, my husband and I got married. This farm was primarily corn and soybeans and grain. And then when we got married, he was trying to figure out what to do with the farm. The first thing we did was made a bed and breakfast with our main house, renovated that. And then we planted 3 acres of grapes, and one of our sons came back from college and decided to help us. Now we have 12.5 acres of grapes. We, in that 10-year time frame, took an equipment shed, emptied it out, and made a winery. And we make now wine. It's a 5,000 case production winery. We make wine for 2,500 cases for Crow, and then we make wine for other startup wineries in our region. We also are the only winery in this region that has an on-site bottling line, so we do our own bottling here. So we're a start-to-finish winery. So my career really isn't the wine, that's just one piece of what I do. We also raise grass-fed Angus beef. I'm very active in that part of the business. And I'm also very active in the bed and breakfast and the tasting room, sharing retail with guests who drive out here and spend time at the farm.
So what do you love about being able to be a part of the wine industry?
I think it feels like this is an untapped, when we first got in the business, it was an untapped market, and people were really supportive that were already in the profession of making wine. And for us, it was a way to sustain the farm. I mean, it's just, bottom line, it always keeps coming back to, this is a strategy to diversify and sustain the family farm that needed some support.
So so what's your wine season particularly like? What's your most popular, how does your wine season
Well,
work?
our wine season is year-round. So what starts is, we start in January pruning the vines. So if you look out there and you see that everything's pretty well pruned down, and right behind this building is a pile of clippings. So that's our wine season starts with a vineyard. I guess that's the best way. People need to understand that for us, growing the grapes and making the product is really important. So we'll be intentional for the next 3 or 4 months with what's going on in the vineyard. Then in the winery, we usually have like harvest in September, and then now until next September, we're making wines, refining wines, and bottling wines, whether it's for us or some other wineries.
So what are your popular grapes that you grow, or do you just grow like a little of everything?
No, we grow Vidal Blanc that has won many awards for us. And that grape, we use it to make wine a variety of ways. We use it to make a still wine, a sparkling, and a dessert wine. Then Barbera has done very well for us. It's a light, medium-bodied red that has some fruit forward. And we make also a rosé using the Barbera. Those are, I would say, 2 signature grapes. Then we have Merlot, Cab Franc a little bit, and we have Chardonnay. Chardonnay is doing very well for us. We also have Pinot Gris and Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc does very well for us.
What's a day-to-day like here? Like from the time you wake up to the time you...
Usually I get up at 4:30 and it starts with feeding all the animals. So, like I said, we have 100 head of Angus beef, small flock of chickens. I just got 15 more baby chicks. I have 6 miniature horses. All the barns have a variety of barn cats. And then I usually go in and breakfast. And if we have B&B guests, we have breakfast at 8:30. And that's sort of family style. Everybody sits down at the table and I cook from scratch for breakfast. And then as the day goes on, I spend a few hours in here making plans for what we're going to be doing in the tasting room, or with our wine club, or with planning upcoming events. And then that's my office over there. I try and spend a few hours each day reviewing wholesale accounts because our wines are out in various restaurants. That's wholesale for us, restaurants and liquor stores, so we do that ourselves. And then wineries, usually up and running starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't really have much to do with that, except we have a full-time winemaker, so he handles that. And then the vineyard, like my son was just out on the tractor spreading wine for a few hours this morning, and I had my grandson for about an hour. And then the afternoon starts. Tonight we have an event for our wine club members at a local restaurant, so I'm gearing up, getting ready for that. So I primarily do events, marketing, sales, and the bed and breakfast.
So what makes your winery different from the other wineries that's in the area?
Different.
Where do you believe that you guys stand out from your competition, I would say?
What's really hard it's like a family, so it's not competition, it's support. So as you're growing an industry, you want everybody to sort of be growing and improving. I think what makes us stand out is that we do custom crush, so we make wines for other wineries in our region. We also have a B&B so people can come here and spend the weekend and understand about the grape growing process, the winemaking process, and how we raise our animals. I guess that kind of answers that. Our wines are dry. Our wines were designed with our winemaker, and we continue to move in that direction because the people that are visiting us, sometimes on weekends we can have 70, 80 people from New York City, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and they have a nice fine wine palate, and they like local food, so we try and do wine and food pairings. So that makes us a little different. We're not doing, we really don't do events that bring in a lot of music and people sit around and drink and stuff like that. Ours is always education oriented and food oriented and wine pairings.
So what would you say the hardest part of actually producing the wine is?
Well, labor's a big piece. It takes a lot of labor. I'd say there's a couple of challenges. One would be labor inputs. The other is weather. We can't really determine weather, but growing grapes on the East Coast tends to be a wetter growing region, so we have to deal with humidity and things like that, which means that we have to do extra steps in the growing of the grapes. So leafing, like clearing the clusters, making sure none of the fruit is actually touching. If you're in a drier climate, you don't have to do quite as much in the labor aspect. So there's that, and then also I would say just some of the basic challenges with once you get it from the growing piece and then you're harvesting, taking it into the winery, kind of just making sure that you have the highest quality product from that
Rosés, reds, and sparkling dessert, and then wine club special feature wines. We actually have 4 different tasting flights. This is the standard one. It's either you would choose the vintners or the winemaker's flight, and you have 8 wines on each side. And then the back of every single one of the tasting flights has our full menu with descriptions and prices. So if you wanted to do a la carte, which it sounds like just a couple wines, you can either pick them, or I can take you through what's our most popular.
So you were saying the Vidal was the popular one, the most popular?
So the Vidal Blanc was the first white varietal planted on the property, and then Barbera was the second varietal planted on the property. Okay. So white and we're starting with Vidal Blanc not only because it's a white varietal, but for this one in particular, it has a hint of sweetness to it. So it's usually the first one that we start with. The summer sausage is made out of our beef.
University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
Okay. How far is that from here?
Well, we're at the Shady Grove campus, so about 2 hours.
Oh, okay. And you already made one other stop?
Yep, we went to Leighton Chance.
Okay, cool.
We're still over time, I think. Yeah, we're still over time. Yeah, I just want to do like all the interviews now. So, because I knew she was
We can take pictures later too, like 3 to 5.
So I think after this we're done. That's why I was making sure we was getting through it.
You got a lot. Did you go into the winery? Oh, good. Okay. Next one is going to be our rosé. So this is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. Nice salmon-y color. We try to capture that color with our rosés. This rosé was made in the Saignée method, so the grapes come in the winery, they drop into the tank. The pressure of them sitting on each other cracks their skin, and that first little juice that comes out just from the pressure of the grapes sitting on each other, that's what we bleed out of the tank. So it's a little time consuming, but